3, 2, 1, let's go. Hi everybody and welcome to another exciting edition of Boring JavaScript. I'm your host, the Virtual Wade, aka Mike Smith, and today we're going to be talking about the toFixed method on the numbers. Now, what does toFixed do? Well, all it does is it will display a certain number of decimal places that you specify within the argument. You want to see how it works? Let's take a look. So to show you the toFixed method, I of course need some numbers to show you. What I have done is I've created a simple little function that runs my toFixed method and then prints out a little message. And that way I can give you 4 quick examples of what the toFixed does. Here's the toFixed method itself, and it takes one argument. The argument is the number of decimal places that will print out for that particular number. What if the number has less than the number of decimal places? Well, then it will zero pad to the very end. What if the number has more of those decimal places than specified? Well, then it will round up or round down to be able to get it to those particular decimals. So what I expect for this first one here is that it will print out 1.00. Why? Because there are no decimals for this first number here, so it's going to zero pad until it gets to 2. The second one here, I'm going to expect it to print out exactly the same, 2.04. The third one here, I expect 3.14. even though it has the 1 at the end. Why? Because the 1 will round down in order to be able to get it to 2 decimals. This one should print out 4.16. Why? Because the 7 will round up in order to be able to get it to 2 decimals. So let's see how that runs. Let's go into Node and type in toFixed. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. I got 1.00 because there are no decimals. I got the exact same number because there was already 2. I got 3.14 because the 1 rounded down, and I got 4.16 because the 7 rounded up. So that's how the argument that gets past the toFixed works. It will round up or round down if the number of decimals is greater than the argument you passed, and it will zero pad if the number of decimals is less than the number that you pass. So what happens if you put a 0 as the argument? Well, it runs the exact same way. As you can see here, I've got a 0, and I'm going past 1.1 and 2.8. Now, 1.1 I should expect to print out just the number 1. Why? Because I have one decimal place that is greater than the number of decimal fractions that I want to print on my printout, which is 0. So it's going to round down. This 2.8 is going to print to be 3. Why? Because again, I have one decimal place that is greater than the number of decimals that I wanted to have, which was 0. So it's going to round up. So let's see how that works. Let's go into Node and type in Node to fixed 0. Yeah, sure enough, 1.1 was turned into 1 and 2.8 was turned into 3. So yes, it works with any number of decimal places, including 0. Now I want to show you something that can be a big gotcha on doing the toFixed method, and that is treating toFixed as a number and not as a display string. This has gotten me before, and I have seen it happen quite a lot in my pay the mortgage type job with a lot of developers, and some of them who are really good developers. Let me first show you what I have. I have some data here, and I just want to print out the actual table. Let me show you what that looks like inside Node. We go to Node, toFixed, and sure enough, it just kind of prints out a very simple table with the currency and with the percentage. Now, I am using 2 different toFixed methods within the code. Let's take a look at those real quick. The first toFixed method is right here, and that allows me to set the PCT to be a toFixed number that has 0 decimals. And of course, that's what you saw in the node there. The second one here is the currency. And the currency value is going to be the value of the company here with 2 digits on the currency. And of course, that's exactly what we got here inside the node. We got the percentage being no decimal places and the amount being 2 decimal places. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to put in a totals line. Save it, and let's see what happens. Let's go back into Node, and uh-oh, we got a problem. 101%, you don't want to send that to your customers. So what happened? Why is it 101%? Percentages should only be to 100. Well, the problem was how we calculated the total amount. because we made a fundamental mistake in dealing with the toFixed method. Let me show you what we did. Let's go back to our code. And here is the percentage that gets printed out here. I'm taking the actual percentage itself. This is the real percentage. I'm doing a parse int for the total amount, dividing the company amount by the total, multiplying by 100. And that gives me the actual percentage. And then I'm changing it to a decimal with 0 places. Now remember, if I have a 0 there, it's going to take any decimal component and round it up or down depending upon the situation. And then I'm adding that number to the total percentage. But that is wrong. And the reason it's wrong is that, remember, I am taking the PCT is going to be the number that has been rounded up or down based upon the toFixed method that I passed here. In reality, what we should have done was to have added to total percentage here, we should have added this part of the number, because that part of the number has all the different decimals to it and not the toFixed. But by adding the toFixed there, we've introduced the error of rounding. So if a lot of these numbers come up to be greater than, for instance, if 16% came up to be 7, it was actually 15.6%, and 17% was actually 16.6% or something like that, our total number will eventually go above 100 because a lot of these numbers have been rounded up. And that's exactly what happened here within our node program here. All of these percentages are most likely less than the actual percentage we have in here. So all our numbers came out to be 101. So you got to be very careful, is that you want to kind of really use the toFixed to be more of a display number than a computational number. If you use it as a computational number, you're going to be introducing errors into your code. So again, toFixed is great for displaying numbers, not so great for doing computations. And that's all there is to the toFixed method. I hope you enjoyed our video. Hope I didn't bore you to death. Please check out our other videos at www.boringjavascript.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or visit our blog at blog.thevirtualoid.com. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you later.